Welcome to the reading of Turning 25 on my 52nd birthday. This is a story of my life right after my divorce as I grew into a new woman. Please comment any questions on the video below. I'll get back to them as soon as I can. And thank you so much. Please like and subscribe also. Thanks. Time for 11 and 12. The days were coming and going. She did not spend any more time with Rick. She was always making sure she was available just in case he called. She would stay home. Lucky if she would even have dinner in a restaurant. She wasn't going out with her sister or her daughter. What a waste of her. Days not doing anything when she could be out with other people. Men, women, it didn't matter. She was so worried about missing his phone call that she would just allow herself to be cooped up in the home. The anxiety was creeping up on her. She started to drink more than eat. She would go to work, and when she would think about him, all she could do was smile and then think about how she enjoyed him in bed. And then she would start the whole cycle all over again. She would think about him, want to be with him again, go home and hope that he would want to spend time with her. Then when he wouldn't call, she would drink too much and either dance or take a bath. Sometimes she would get to the point where she would break down and cry. It was so much a bipolar time for her. So many ups and downs. Not only was she not used to having emotions, now she was dealing with all of them at once. It was crazy for her. She realized that she really needed to feel emotions. Without all of the other emotions, how do you truly feel happiness? She liked being happy, so deal with all of them, or no other choice. The rest of the week went by without any more rendezvous. It was Friday, and she did make plans to go to a concert with a couple of ladies from the office. They had so much fun. They drank way too much. The music was great. The weather was also great. Such a good night. She actually forgot about Rick. Her life back to normal again, at least for a few hours. Rick and her talked about going to a nightclub on Saturday. One of the other guys from the office was playing there. He was in a band, and on Saturday morning, Rick or Veronica said she really didn't know if she wanted to go. She told him that she didn't know if she could hide the attraction to him when they were in that kind of party environment. They were both hungover also, so they decided to meet up later and have dinner. She met him about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and she took him out for dinner. Then she went to his house, and they went to a decent steak place. He ended up being super hungover. He was having a hard time even eating. She had a couple of drinks. She was turning into a power drinker. She was not sure if that was a good thing. They went back to his place. He turned on a movie as usual. He didn't appear to be interested in what he was watching, or was he just interested in having the TV on for background noise? They both started talking, and it was amazing how well they could really talk. The conversation was about everything. Rick opened up, talked about his family, how he was raised. They laughed and they talked serious. It was genuinely a good conversation. This was a night Veronica felt like they could be really good friends. It seemed both of them could really open up to each other. She was starting to feel desperate with the fact that she may not have sex again. Her anxiety was growing out of control. She was drinking more and more, and she was almost starting to feel like she was literally out of control. She knew he was taking advantage of her, not in the way of sex, but when and how often, only when he wanted to. She had asked a couple different times about getting together, and Rick always would say, "Not tonight." She knew she was allowing this to take place. She could always just tell him to know the next time he asked or wanted to get together, but she was almost like enslaved with him. She almost felt like she couldn't say no. Veronica is a smart lady and knew in her heart she could say no, but she could not make that choice. She was going to do whatever he wanted. This was obvious to her. Some days she almost hated him, not because of him, but because of what he could do to her, or more importantly, what she was allowing him to do to her. The week at work was fine, but when she would think of him, she just wanted to go be in bed with him. He just had this arrogance about him that made her mad, just as much as it made her horny. It was so hard for her to figure out how to handle these emotions. She hadn't had sex so long, much less than it with a different man, other than her ex-husband. She didn't remember feeling this way ever. They would text occasionally. They both enjoyed football. Living in Colorado, you almost have to be a Denver Bronco fan. Out of the blue on Wednesday, early in the day, he texted her and said, "I think you should leave work and meet me at my house for lunch." I want you to suck my dick. She texted, really? And he said, yes, I think that would be a good idea. Veronica said, that's 3 hours round trip and drive time. I have to leave work. He responded, leave sick or family emergency. I need your mouth as soon as you can get here. Veronica said yes. She could not believe that she just agreed to this. She responded with a yes. What was she thinking? She was really going to leave work early and take sick time, drive an hour and a half to give him a blowjob. She left work saying that she wasn't feeling well and drove for an hour and a half to his house. He must have seen her pull up because he opened his door, and as soon as she got out of the car, she walked in and they went into the living room. He put his hands on her shoulders and pushed her to her knees. He undid his pants and took out his dick and pushed her head on him. She opened her mouth and started sucking. He was not going to let her off easy. He was moving fast and hard. She was having trouble breathing. He was going so deep, and her face would end up right up against him. She looked up at him like with pleas in her eyes. This was a little too much. She was not even really enjoying it. The only reason why she enjoyed it at all is because she knew he was. When he finished, he looked so pleased that it made her feel good about what she just did. Risking her job, feeling like she was being choked and couldn't breathe. That was good. That was so good for her. She immediately was upset with herself. But when he said, I wish I would have recorded that, she immediately responded with, you could have. He almost looked disappointed that he didn't. Why would she say that? This was another perfect example of going out of her way to please him. And for what? She got in her car and drove back to Denver. She really was starting to not feel good about herself. But yet she was falling into the same old trap. Do whatever a man wants. You must please your men. And if you don't, they won't want you. She started wondering who else would want her. She didn't have a choice. She felt like it was do what he says or you will never have him or another man again. It was a desperate feeling. Rick was playing on it too, or at least it certainly felt like he was. But she didn't care. If that was the case, then so be it. She was just enjoying the attention and the sex too much to care, or at least that was what she thought at the moment. So that was kind of hard because after that, she did exactly what she said. She left work and, under these circumstances and went to go see him just because he had asked. And he said now, and she went now. She literally left. I have to keep remembering it's me. I left the office and went to go drive and do that for him. Was it fun? Yeah, in a way it really was, because it was kind of like, that sneaky little thing you do. And so that made it fun. But there was this constant thing in my head about, I constantly was fighting the battle. I want him, but I'm allowing him to control me. I want him, but I'm allowing him to control me. And there was not at this point any kind of happy medium going on. So it was really it was a tough time. Because I felt desperate. I'm not going to lie to you. I felt desperate. How I say in this book is not exaggerated. Matter of fact, it's probably the other way. It's probably not out there enough. I can't explain how I felt and why I would feel that way. So, yeah, that was that was me being, whatever you want, you get. I'm not going to say we didn't have fun. We did. And it wasn't as hard as it seemed. It was just when I thought about it afterward, I thought of the negative parts of it and went, is this really what I want? There was the other part that was fun. It was like, sneaking away. And it's always fun when you have a partner to please your partner. That's just, part of a physical relationship. So anyway, that was chapters 11 and 12.